What is up, guys? Rick, always raiding Kackis here. Thank you so much for stopping by, and today we are going to be going over all 7 of the brand new Garden of Salvation raid weapons, discussing the perks they spawn with, their stats, so that you guys know the PvE and PvP god rolls to be going for, and if doing this brand new raid is worth your time to get that sweet loot. This is 7 videos in one, so let's get started. First off, if you want to support the channel, especially if you like the redesign, check out the Siak merch linked down below. Alright, the first weapon we got here is the Accursed Redemption Legendary Kinetic Bow. Now, this thing is going to pretty much always drop from the first encounter. That's something to note. These weapons will only drop from certain encounters. For example, you're not going to get the bow from the final encounter of this raid. In any event, taking a look at its stats here, it belongs to the 680 draw time archetype, and another common bow that belongs here is the Subtle Calamity. Now, the stat that does stand out is that it has very high handling. In any event, it is time to move on and look at its perks. So, in that first category, what really stands out is, firstly, no distractions. Aiming this weapon for a short time reduces incoming flinch. And this is the only bow in the game that can get this perk. So, it's very good on sniper rifles. It's going to allow you to land your shots more consistently, especially in PvP, where getting flinched matters so much. It's the difference between life and death. And with a very hard-hitting precision weapon like a bow, flinch can matter as well. So finally having the option to get this no distractions perk, it's already highly sought after for snipers. That's very, very good. Another great perk here is Quick Draw, just letting you draw it super fast, get that shot off quickly, and then Archer's Tempo, draw time decreased after every precision hit, is great in PvE. That's what you're going to be looking for there. Moving on to the second perk category, we do have Rampage, always good, Explosive Head, always good, and that's about it. I'm not really sure Rapid Hit would work too well with a bow, but yeah, Rampage or Explosive Head should be fine, but you're really looking for the roll with no distractions. That's going to give you something different, an option totally unique from its competition, especially in the PvP environment. In fact, if you like using a bow and you find yourself every once in a while missing shots because you got flinched, you gotta get this thing. Moving on from there, we have the Sacred Provenance Legendary Kinetic Pulse Rifle. Now, looking at the stats, this belongs to the fairly unique 450 rounds per minute archetype. This has a unique intrinsic perk, Aggressive Burst, hard-hitting 4 burst fire. So this, the Blast Furnace, the Go Figure, these all belong in the same archetype. And compared to those, this weapon's stats actually don't stand out too much. The Blast Furnace beats it in range and stability kind of handily too, and this weapon really doesn't have any stat that stands out dramatically. But can it make up for it in the perks? Well, spoiler alert, yeah it can. So first off, we've got high caliber rounds to increase flinch, a pretty good perk. We've also got ricochet rounds, which is decent too, but mainly in that first perk slot, we have Rapid Hit. Rapid precision hits temporarily increase stability and reload speed. Now, because this belongs to that Aggressive Burst archetype, you're going to land 4 rapid precision hits for 1 burst to the head and have Rapid Hit active. Reload very fast, and this thing will become an absolute laser beam. Now, you also do have in that first perk category Outlaw, which has proven itself great with this archetype of pulse rifles, and in fact with pulse rifles in general. However, Rapid Hit might just be even more consistent than Outlaw. But in that second perk category, we also have some very good choices. Kill Clip stands out the most. Now, Headseeker isn't terrible, especially on this archetype, because body shots landed with this weapon increase precision damage for a short time. Because it's a 4 burst, you can actually get body head head or body head head head, and then all of those headshots, all three are affected with bonus damage. It's more of a varying difference. It's more of a substantial difference than if there's only 3 shots being fired, essentially. But really, the god roll, the absolute pinnacle roll you are looking for is rapid hit with kill clip. And frankly, that's going to be the PvP and PvE god roll. Now, the Blast Furnace is arguably one of the best PvP pulse rifles in the game, and it can get kill clip plus feeding frenzy. This, having rapid hit, gives it the edge in the sense that it doesn't need to get a kill to start reloading incredibly fast, and it's also going to increase its stability massively when rapid hit is active, whereas feeding frenzy doesn't do that at all. So this thing is insane. If you can get the god roll, whew, you'll probably like it. Moving on from there, we have the Reckless Oracle Legendary Energy Auto Rifle. Looking at the stats, this belongs to the 720 fastest firing damage archetype. This is actually relatively unique. There's not a ton of weapons here. Stats wise, well, its reload speed is excellent, but kind of aside from that, the stats very much just fall in line with its competition. Moving on from there, we have the perks, and here things start to get a little interesting. Mainly, what stands out to me is high caliber rounds, which is going to increase the flinch you afflict other players. Well, that, with a 51 round in a magazine fast firing auto rifle, that is a very dangerous combo because your opponent is just going to be getting hit so often and flinching so much, they're very, very likely to miss. Moving on, we have some decent perks in the first perk category. We have firstly Under Pressure, improved stability and accuracy as the magazine gets lower, but mainly we do have Outlaw. Precision kills increase the reload speed dramatically. And in the second perk category, we have Kill Clip, which pairs amazingly with Outlaw, letting you get a kill reload faster than normal and then get that damage bonus. Swashbuckler is going to be excellent too. And to be honest, for PvE, Triple Tap might be pretty decent. Giving 1 round back every 3 rounds fired when you have 51 rounds in a magazine, and if you put backup mag on, you have 69, funny enough. That means you're going to be able to shoot for a ridiculously long time without reloading. This could output some serious damage for just a primary weapon. But the god roll I'm looking for is going to be high caliber rounds with Outlaw, and then either Kill Clip, probably mainly Kill Clip, or Swashbuckler. Now it is time to move on to the Zealot's Reward Legendary Energy Fusion Rifle. Looking at the stats, this belongs to the fastest firing, fastest charge timing, but lowest damage fusion rifle archetype. Its stats are pretty standard for this archetype. So moving on from there, we do have the perks. Now, interestingly, in the ballistics, we have Arrowhead Break. This is going to lower this weapon's horizontal recoil and make it almost purely vertical, which means it's much easier to control, and with a fusion rifle, that's what you want, to shoot at someone's stomach and have it just kick purely upwards to their head. Next up, in the first perk category, the best perk here is Feeding Frenzy. Kills increased reload speed. You also do have Under Pressure, which is pretty much always going to be active if you're getting 2 rounds per kill and starting with 2 rounds in PvP. So that could be something to keep an eye on as well. But in the second perk category, we have some very good options. Rampage is just going to give you a damage bonus for kills, then High Impact Reserves, same thing as Under Pressure, potentially always active in PvP. Then you've got Backup Plan. Grants reduced charge time and increased handling speed for a short time immediately after swapping this weapon. So this thing, with Backup Plan, it's already in the fastest charging archetype in the entire game. If you get it with Backup Plan, this is basically a shotgun. You are shooting like instantaneously with this weapon. However, the big downside of this weapon is that the archetype usually is not favored. In fact, the opposite. Some of the best fusion rifles in the game use Backup Plan, but belong to the highest damaging, slowest charging archetype. So, can this make a name for itself? I'm not really sure. Generally, I don't think it's going to be as good as things like the Air Until FR4. But for the memes, if you want to run Backup Plan, Feeding Frenzy, Arrowhead Break, or potentially Under Pressure, you could get an incredibly fast-charging fusion rifle that will beat out even those pesky Air Until users. In any event, it is time to move on from there to the Ancient Gospel Legendary Energy Hand Cannon. Looking at the stats here, this belongs to the 140 rounds per minute hand cannon archetype. Already a great start. In fact, this is arguably the best hand cannon archetype for console, and it really isn't too far behind the 150s on PC. Stats-wise, very good. In fact, it's pretty darn close to the Austringer kinetic hand cannon in the same archetype from Menagerie. That thing has been very, very good in PvP especially, and not too shabby in PvE either. Now, the difference is that compared to the Austringer, this is in the energy slot. So if you like that weapon, this Ancient Gospel is going to open up a whole bunch more build possibilities. A stat that really does stand out, however, is the 100 recoil direction. Basically, this thing is always going to kick vertically. Moving on to the perks, we have some great options here. The normal ballistics are present. Notably, Full Bore and Hammer Forged are both here. Then we do have Accursed rounds to increase the range. Near Essential if you want a PvP god roll. Then we got some good options. In that first perk tier, Rapid Hit is going to be excellent for all the reasons I explained when we talked about it with the Pulse Rifle. With a hand cannon, you're constantly, at least trying to land precision hits. Getting that extra reload speed, getting that insane stability is great. You also have Outlaw, which is always good on hand cannons. And you even have Eye of the Storm, which is one of the console all-stars counteracting the insane bloom hand cannons get, especially for PvP. In the second perk category, we have great options there too. Kill Clip is present. Rangefinder, if you want it in a PvP role, is going to be here as well. Dragonfly, actually for a PvE role, definitely is not bad. And then Swashbuckler is going to give you a good option for PvP and PvE as well. You can actually get the Fatebringer Destiny 1 role of Outlaw plus Dragonfly. That could be very good. In fact, that probably is the god roll for PvE. For PvP, probably Rapid Hit, potentially Outlaw, combined with either Kill Clip, Rangefinder, maybe Swashbuckler if you're going to throw out some more melees, and that's going to be great as well. If you like hand cannons, this is honestly near the top of the list. And speaking of the top of the list, we're moving on here to the Prophet of Doom Legendary Energy Shotgun. Looking at the stats, this is a 65 rounds per minute precision frame archetype, and this is going to shoot a burst. There's also in the same kind of archetype is the Suros slug shotguns. This isn't one of them. This is going to be in the same damage archetype as the Dust Rock Blues, a very heavily used, very, very good PvP shotgun. Here's the insane thing. The Dust Rock Blues has one of the best starting ranges in the entire game. It's truly absurd. This has higher. This actually has a higher starting range than the Dust Rock Blues at 70 as opposed to 65, and that means, with the Dust Rock, you can actually max out the range, literally get 100 out of 100 range, and for this, you can do that even easier. And that means you may actually not need or not even want to get a range masterwork. You can get a handling masterwork, improve this weapon there, and then rely on the ballistics and the perks to get this thing's range near to, if not at 100. In fact, let's take a look at those perks. So, in terms of the ballistics, it can get Rifled Barrel, Absurd, or Full Choke, both very good. Then we do have, importantly, Accursed rounds present, the absolute best perk for that slot. Moving on to the first main perk slot, we do have, firstly, Full Auto Trigger System, which actually does give you a little bit of a rate of fire advantage, can come in clutch in those two-shot kill scenarios. Not actually a bad perk. Unfortunately, we have Slideways, not the other Slide Shot perk that improves the range. Then we do have Feeding Frenzy, which is going to actually be pretty decent on this weapon. And then in the second perk category, we have some great options. Firstly, 1-2 Punch, a very rare, somewhat new perk where hitting an enemy with every pellet increases the melee damage for a short duration. This is the third shotgun in the entire game that can get this perk, and it has some disgusting combos. That combined with the Paragon Greaves can give you like one-shot kills on strike bosses. So yeah, 1-2 Punch, very desirable for PvE especially. But for PvP, I'd be going with Opening Shot. Improved accuracy and range on the opening shot of an attack. So you can get 100 out of 100 range and then increase that even more with Opening Shot. You are going to be mapping people with this gun if you get that combo. And lastly, Rampage, always strictly a decent perk there too. So in my opinion, the PvP god roll is going to be full choke or rifled combined with accurized rounds. Then you've got probably Feeding Frenzy, maybe full auto trigger system, and Opening Shot. With the PvE roll, having Appended Mag, Tactical Mag, or Extended Mag with full auto or potentially Feeding Frenzy, and then probably 1-2 Punch or maybe Rampage, but definitely 1-2 Punch actually. And moving on from there, the last weapon we're going to cover is the Omniscient Eye Legendary Energy Sniper Rifle. So, looking at the stats, this belongs to the Rapid Fire Frame archetype, the fastest firing, lowest damaging sniper rifle archetype, and its stats are actually very, very good. In fact, it has a lot of competition with the Twilight Oath. That is arguably the best PvP sniper rifle in the game because it also one-shot kills people, but it allows for super quick double body shots. This has better range, stability, and handling than that weapon. Off to a great start. Moving on to the perks, we have some even better stuff, frankly. So, first off, we have accurized rounds, which can be decent. Then, mainly in that first perk category, we have no distractions, which is going to reduce flinch. We talked about it with the bow, and here it's in its natural habitat with a sniper rifle. The thing is, no distractions was introduced on the Beloved sniper rifle with Season of Opulence, and the Beloved is the only other sniper rifle that can get this perk. So basically, if you're using the Beloved, because you can get no distractions with it, now you have basically a Twilight Oath that can get no distractions. Oh, and by the way, in the second perk category, we have Snapshot Sights as well, which is going to increase ADS time, one of arguably the best PvP perk you're looking for on sniper rifles, period. In fact, it's such a good perk on the Twilight Oath, the best roll you were looking for is the curated roll specifically because it came with Snapshot. So, the absolute PvP god roll is going to be no distractions with Snapshot Sights, and it's going to be disgusting. I have one of these. The zoom is very low. It's like an ambush sight. It's amazing. And I would bet this weapon with that roll is going to make waves in PvP. You're going to start to see a lot more people using this weapon as they start to get them. And in terms of PvE, nothing absolutely insane. In fact, the opposite end of the spectrum in terms of damage archetypes is what you favor, but we do have some great perks in that second perk category, such as Dragonfly, Multi-Kill Clip, and Rampage, all good if you combine this with something like Outlaw and then use all of the Sniper Rifle Reserves, Sniper Rifle Finder, Sniper Rifle Scavenger, all that stuff on your Armor 2.0, you could basically craft a marksman's rifle with this gun. Like, imagine a scout rifle that kills everything in one hit with Outlaw plus Dragonfly or Multi-Kill Clip or Rampage. Like, that actually sounds like a super fun combo that I want to try out. And so guys, that is it for the video. I hope you enjoyed, found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. And if you guys want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickKackis. That's linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.